Hello and welcome back to Drunk on Wanderlust. It's time to hit another trail and we are here in sunny Corfu. We are about to start the Corfu Trail. Now, due to time restrictions, we're only going to be doing the north half of the trail. But we've heard it is the most beautiful section. We're going to be heading from the west coast straight across to the east coast, up through all the mountainous area, straight up to the very north of the island. We literally cannot wait to see what this island has in store. So without further ado, let's get to it. The north half of the trail starts in Palaiokastritsa on the west coast of Corfu. Well, so far on this section we've done quite a lot of road walking, but it has been really scenic. But we're looking forward to now coming off the road, heading down this unknown path and getting into some nature. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely stunning on this section of the trail today. It's lovely and warm. It's probably in the very high 20s. And yeah, we're already sweating, but we've got plenty of water. We're going to keep hydrated and let's do it. The trail was established in 2001 and has since become one of the most popular long-distance hikes in Greece due to its beautiful scenery and varied landscape.
So we're at the foot of the climb. It's only 250 metres up, but it's quite a steep gradient, so we're going to have to take it slow and steady in this heat.
We had to climb 250 metres up to the top of the cliffs to reach the coastal path, which would take us to the beautiful village of Agios Spyridonas. I just absolutely shit myself just going up this hill, and a massive snake just came out and bolted past me like a big brown one. I went, ah! Danny was a little bit behind me, she didn't know what was going on, and luckily I didn't get my camera out in time to film it. I was too busy screaming and having a mini heart attack. But it was massive. It must have been a good kind of metre long, and it was fat as well. Whew. Well, so shall we see if we see any more on this section of the trail? Let's do it. Well, that was a surprise. And it wasn't the only snake we saw either. Corfu has a number of snakes, including the venomous horn-nosed viper. We had better be vigilant. Now, the trail doesn't have any definitive markers. Although there are painted signs here and there, we recommend using a GPS map of the route.
Now this is making the climb worthwhile.
We were about halfway up the cliff and started to get our first glimpse over the beautiful west coast scenery. Still climbing up, up and up and up and up. There she is, living her best life. Woo! Woo, it's warm. Time for the final push, the last little section of the climb. We highly recommend hiking boots for this trail, as some sections are a bit rocky. Then finally, we made it to the top. Well, we're a little bit knackered from that climb. That was intense, that last bit. And I'm still a little bit shook up from those snakes, but we've got a Fanta, so all right. Done most of the big climb for today. Once at the top, the route takes you through the traditional Greek village of Lakonis, where you will find various cafes and restaurants. Time to rehydrate, or if you're feeling up to it, a quick ouzo.
Come and look at this view.
Now that is stunning. It's no wonder so many holidaymakers choose to visit this island. It really does have it all. We walked on to the next village and had a quick look around the quaint little village square. Now, as you can see, we only have our day packs with us this time. No wild camping for us. If you follow our adventures, you may have seen that we're actually out here working for a few months, performing as an ABBA duo in Sidari, and we're doing this trail in between gigs. Now, there are plenty of potential wild camping spots. However, we didn't have room to take all our camping gear this time, but we are back in the UK in August to tackle our next wild camping trail. We'll tell you a little bit more about that later in the video. Now we spotted another painted trail marker, so knew we were on the right path. And there it was in the distance, Agios Spyridonas. We couldn't be too far now. We trotted along the path towards our destination, soaking up the sun, sea, and gorgeous scenery. Now here's a handy tip. Make sure you keep checking the GPS map route of this trail so you don't go off track. It can be quite easy to follow the wrong path by mistake, and if you do that, you'll end up getting pretty lost. Okay, so somehow we've managed to come off route. The path kind of ended and we are stumbling around in woodland trying to find the path again. It's not too far into the town now, so it can't be too far from the path. We're just going to keep heading down and hope for the best and pray that we don't come into contact with too many snakes. What the actual fuck was that noise? We're so lost.
We've gone completely off route. We're covered in scratches. We're just trying to make it to some sort of path. Look what we climbed down.
We made it down in one piece. Now that was a 25-minute nightmare. Blood, sweat and actual tears. I think Danny was a bit traumatised.
Okay, let me explain the ordeal we've just been through. But we saw that there was a footpath on the map, so we thought we'd just go through like some of the trees and we'd come on a path. No, we ended up going down through bushes, thorns, everything. And then we heard like this weird, low kind of grunting, growling sound. So we were a bit scared, but we carried on. And then we heard it again, but even closer. And literally, I thought it was a big cat or a monkey, but we kind of have come to the conclusion that it might have been a wild boar, because it did sound a bit like a pig. But we were literally so scared. We thought it was how it was going to end. It was like horror film vibes when you're trapped on a desert island and you're about to get eaten by a dinosaur. And yeah, we made it down. We're covered in scratches, but we're alive.
Check out our scratches. Once again, if you go off route, retrace your steps and go back. And don't try and find a shortcut. It's just not worth it.
So I've just been Googling what predators are on Corfu Island, or like what large animals, and all it keeps coming up with are birds or reptiles or like moles and weird little rodent things. I'm thinking it was a wildcat or a boar or something, but we've just like read that there's loads of bullfrogs on Corfu Island, so we literally could have been crying about frog.
We made it to Agios Spyridonas beach, first section complete. It was only 7.5 miles, but in this heat it felt longer.
Okay, so we've been told that just off the trail there's a viewpoint that we cannot miss. So just past Agios Spyridonas, over a load of rocks, we've been told to look for the twin beaches of Porto Timoni. Apparently it's meant to be stunning and it's a view we cannot miss. But as I said, we've got to climb over rocks and then a massive climb up a mountain and then more climbing down. So it's going to be tough, but we think it's going to be worth it.
Quick correction, it's definitely a cliff we had to climb, not a mountain, but it was a scramble for sure. Here she emerges, dainty and graceful. I had to mute this clip due to the unladylike language. The climb up the cliff was steep, but it was actually really beautiful. It took us around 30 minutes, but the views from the top alone were worth it. Another 20 minutes along the cliff to reach the main viewpoint. Well, that was totally worth it. Did you see those shots of the beach? Absolutely stunning. Now tomorrow we're heading back to start the next section, and we're bringing some friends with us as well. Now, like I said before in the voiceovers, you can wild camp this trail, although it is technically illegal, just like in England, but you never know, you might be able to find the landowner, etc, etc. But because we don't have any of our camping equipment, we're just staying in hotels and stuff whilst we're doing this trail. There's plenty of options in Agios Spyridonas. So, see you on the next section.
We are at Agios Spyridonas beach. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Don't come for me. And we're going to hike all the way to Rekini.
Right, let's tackle this second section. We started back on the beach where we met our friends and started to climb out of the village, heading southeast towards the village of Pagoi. How's the trail so far?
Uphill. Matterpuff.
The 300 metres ascent in 29-degree heat was a bit of a sweat fest, but when we were halfway up, we were met with this. So at the minute, it's kind of relentless uphill. But look at the views. It is totally worth it for the views. And we're going to hit a town soon, so we're going to have a nice little bev stop. Cheeky beer. Keep us hydrated. The first village we came across didn't have a shop or cafe, but we were told the second one wasn't far and there were places we could eat there. We've done a lot of uphill, but now we're going downhill towards the pub in Pagoi, I think it's called, and we're on this tiny little route here, so it should be a little bit more easy going for the next couple of miles. The downhill stretch into the next village was a welcome relief. So many wildflowers. We reached the second village in around 20 minutes, where we located the 007 Taverna, where scenes from a Bond movie had been filmed. Points for anyone who can tell me which Bond film this was. Answers in the comment section below. Feeling refreshed, we continued along the trail, enjoying the shady sections, which gave us a brief break from the scorching sun. We only had around 3 miles left to reach the end of this section. The trail passed through more beautiful rural countryside as we headed towards the village of Agios Athanasios, where we had another brief uphill section. Well, we've just come up a lovely little dirt track. We're off-roading ever so slightly, but it's keeping it interesting. Enjoying it. Nice to get off that main road. 1 mile left to go. Another fabulous day on the trail. We couldn't believe how pretty this island was and how green. We reached Pantokrator Abbey, but unfortunately it was closed until 5 p.m. But that's all we have time for in this episode. Click that subscribe button to catch the next sections of the trail, and thank you so much for watching.
Okay, so something very exciting happened today. We actually booked our train tickets for our next UK wild camping adventure, and we are going back to Scotland. We're actually going to be doing the East Highland way, which apparently is a little bit more wild than the last trail that I did. So we're really looking forward to it. We can't wait to get back to Scotland. Stay tuned for that adventure. And if anyone's done the East Highland way, pop us a comment, tell us what you thought.